video, I would like to talk about the triple output power supply that we have here in the lab. The triple output power supply can output up to 3 voltages. In this port, between 0 and 6 volts. In this port, between 0 and 25 volts. And in this port, between 0 and negative 25 volts. You can use these ports combined to output voltage between 0 and 50 volts, for example. And if you link the COM ports together, you can use these multiple voltages in one circuit and have them all referenced to each other. So the first step is to turn on the power supply and wait for it to boot up. The next step is to select the output port you'd like to set. In this case, we'll set the 6 volt output port by pressing plus 6 volts. The next step is to display the limit. You see that this digit is blinking, and I'm currently going to be setting the voltage by turning the knob. I'm setting the voltage in this case to 5 volts to simulate the USB voltage. By pressing voltage current, I'm able to set the current limit, and you want to reduce the current limit to something so that if you miswire your circuit, you don't burn up your components. If you wait long enough, the screen will time out. To go back to the screen, just press display limit. When you're ready, you can turn the output on, and by pressing display limit, you'll see that you're outputting 5 volts and that there's currently no current because there's no circuit on this port. To verify that we've got 5 volts, we can turn on the digital multimeter. I'm going to connect the negative port of the 6 volt output to the low input of the multimeter. And I'm going to connect the positive output of the 6 volt port into the voltage input in the upper left. Notice that it says V for input, whereas the incorrect port would say I, which is for current. And if you look, we're outputting 5 volts DC. If I press the output on off button, we are now not outputting any voltage. Another thing that we can do that I described before was have a voltage of up to 50 volts. So if I select the plus 25 and display the limit, I can set that to 25 volts. And I'm going to set the current to 0.1 amps, which is 100 milliamps. I'm now going to set the minus 25 to minus 25 volts and the current to 0.1 amps. So now if I move my connections and look at the minus 25 to the positive 25 and turn the output on, you'll see that I have 50 volts output. Now if I change that and measure from the common to the positive output, I have 25 volts. And if I measure from the common to the negative port, I have minus 25 volts. But minus 25 volts measured in the opposite orientation gets you 25 volts. So if you have any issues using the triple output power supply, or if you have any questions, please come see the lab staff. Thank you very much.